Are you feeling anxious? Online Therapy 24/7 is here to help. We offer confidential support from the comfort of your own sofa. Our highly qualified therapists are experienced in a full range of daily challenges. You'll be in safe and trusted hands. Don't suffer alone. Change your life by calling us on 0207 553 50 80 and check out our website onlinetherapy247.com.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Pam Spurr, and I'm here with you every fortnight on a Thursday to talk about what's trending. So the show's called Trending with Dr. Pam. Now you can comment and get involved and follow the men's radio station and the women's radio station, where this is repeated on Fridays, on all the usual social media platforms. Just check out men's radio station, women's radio station, and also their .com websites. Now, as always, we look at the trends that the politicians and celebrities may be setting, but actually have implications for our lives. As always, I've got three amazing guests today. Let me tell you about my first guest. Now, he is an actor, a comic, an impressionist. And I have to say, he is my all-time favorite impressionist because he's absolutely spot on. He's also a singer. Maybe we can get him to sing us something today. You can find him on social media at lukekempner.com. And his website is on social media is at Luke Kempner. And of course, his website is lukekempner.com. And I'm delighted he should be joining me any second now.
Hello.
Hello, darling. It's
Hello,
so good to see you.
Darling, how are you? It's good to see you. Wow, this is lovely. This is the only way you can meet up with people these days anyway.
I
so
know.
It's very nice to see you. My dear Dr. Pam, how are you?
Well, I've had a raging cold all week.
Oh, no.
I had a cough all the way through your impressions. One thing I've just spotted about you is you've got one of those really sleek, like racer chairs.
Yes.
That I've always wanted.
This is because I now stream on Twitch. That's sort of a lockdown thing I started last April, where I play games and chat to people. And my wife got me this for Christmas, and it's actually
cool.
Because you can see this here for anyone who is watching the stream. Now it says Luke Kempner's Twitch Match Special,
fantastic,
which is the name of my my Twitch channel. So yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
I know. I want those because they just are so comfortable, but they cost a fortune. So you've got a very generous wife.
Yes, I know. Yeah, she's obviously done something and feels guilty or something.
Now, of course, we've all been on lockdown. Obviously, you have your wife to be on lockdown with. Tell me how you personally have found it.
Well, I found the second one a bit easier, because the first one, it was sort of getting used to it all and what is this? And I ate way too much and I drank way too much. When this one kicked in, it was a bit annoying when it kicked in. I had a holiday booked over New Year, and it was like, right, I've got to cancel that. But I feel very fortunate. I'm on a show called Steph's Packed Lunch on Channel 4, which I do twice a week. So I'm up in Leeds twice a week. I get to see people. I get to leave my house. So I'm very fortunate, Dr. Pam. I know a lot of people aren't as fortunate as I am. So I've just tried to keep it as normal as possible and eating healthy but not giving yourself a hard time.
And practicing your impressions on your wife?
Well, yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, not so much. I mean, but definitely doing loads of impressions. It's so interesting seeing the voices that come in and out. Obviously, I know you've heard me do my Trump many, many times, but with him not getting in for another 4 years, even though I'm saying I'm still the president. That was a weird one for me because I was like, okay, I got to say goodbye to that character. And then people were like, oh, are you sad? He's going to be gone. Are you sad? I'm like, I am not sad about that. I've milked that enough.
Yeah, but you've milked it to perfection. And you remember when you once talked dirty to me as Trump, which actually made my skin crawl because it was so realistic.
You've never forgotten it, though.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, I think that when you know what's funny about that, Pam? I remember you got me to talk dirty to you, and I know you enjoyed it. Don't pretend you didn't. But I was up in Edinburgh at the time doing my tour show, doing my my live show, and I was actually in a corner of a bar doing this live call with you, talking dirty to you as Donald Trump. I mean, when it comes to putting yourself in weird situations, that's got to be the weirdest, Dr. Pam.
That has got to be. We've just had the Waffle Shop podcast, fantastic podcast, say legend. Haha, they obviously love
Thank you very much, Waffle Show. How you doing?
you. Now, okay, so talking about Trump is obviously still claiming the election's been stolen. So I would have thought you could get mileage out of that. But are you really putting him to one side?
I am, because the thing is as well, like there's so many people that think they can do a Trump, but it's not even that the impressions are good or not. It's just the gags are being used. And it's sort of like, I feel ready for something new. But then the trouble is obviously Boris has been around for so long, and having him forefront of the pandemic, and it is important. It is important to remember that he is the prime minister. Which does mean that you are going to have to do jokes about him. So you have to remember who's in the limelight. But my favourite one to do at the moment really is Piers Morgan, because he's somebody who's had a complete change. I remember when everybody used to hate Piers Morgan. Now suddenly he's the one that's holding this government to account, and that's something that I've been playing him on Spitting Image. And I think he enjoyed it a little bit too much. It served his ego. But he's somebody that's he's sort of replaced for me Jeremy Kyle, who's now not on TV, because I absolutely love doing Jeremy Kyle. He was one of my favourites because you could be so obnoxious, shout at people. And now I get to do that with Piers Morgan. I found my new character.
I love it. And Helen's joined us. Helen, thank you, Helen. She says, "Hey, Pam, Luke, good afternoon." And she's laughing.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon back to you, Helen. Okay, yeah, so you're Boris again. I remember quite early on, maybe it was in the middle of the first lockdown. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but maybe it was the summer. But you did that amazing, Boris, which got so many retweets and so much love.
Yeah. Well, it was just because when he started doing his press conferences, I just feel like I can say what he really means. He often says all these things, and it's just I just feel like it was a chance to say what he really means. And the thing is, when I'm writing stuff, it's always my opinion coming through my characters. Like I love doing Christopher Biggins is one of my favorites. I don't get to do him enough, really. Usually just around Christmas time and Panto.
I know, yes. And there was no Panto this year.
Well, I know. I was stuck at home, darling. But but then I find gags that I might not want to say myself. But I can often I could put it through Biggins, or it could be for Andy Murray if it wanted to be. It could be through Alan Carr. If I wanted to put it through Eamon Holmes, I could do that as well. So it just depends. It just depends, what the gags I want to say, and it's often not even about them. Obviously, Boris Star, we're doing it. Often he's very much the forefront. So I'm extracting the Michael out of him. But with someone like Biggins, he might not be topical, but you're talking about something that is topical, and then you've got you're using his voice.
Now, one thing that I would have thought might be hard, maybe not for you, obviously. What do you think of Biden's voice and mannerisms? Because he's so low key.
Yeah,
so that's hard.
Come on, man. I mean, it's one of those things. It's not, a lot of people have said to me, they're like, "Oh, have you got your Biden yet?" And actually, I should have worked on it already. But I think it's funny actually, because it's that thing of, sometimes I might be able to do the perfect Biden right now, but you've got to wait for his jokes to come, because at the moment Biden is it's such a relief, isn't it? It just feels like you just feel like, oh God, we've got
we've got a grown up.
Yeah, exactly. The grown-ups are here. So I think there's going to be times when we can take the mickey out of Joe Biden. And they're coming, because before it was just lots of him being very old and, and sort of very slow and all that sort of stuff. So, but I think the jokes will change in the next sort of 6 months, and it'll be interesting to see what there is that we take the mickey out of him for. But it'll come.
Do you have a personal favorite? You know, that
Well,
you are so happy when you do it, even if you don't like the character, like say Trump. You know, I hate Trump, but I love it when you do him.
yes, 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 yes. It really varies, you know. Like, I've been quite enjoying doing a little bit more Prince Philip, you know, Prince Charles. That's really, you know, like that because of just watching The Crown recently. So that's been enjoyable to do that. You know, often it's when I'm watching something. You know, when I was watching, I watched The Fall. Did you see The Fall that they put recently
Yes.
back with the Northern Irish and Jeremy Dornan? And it was
Yes.
just, I was doing an impression of his wee girl, Daddy. Like, and I enjoyed doing that. But I think my all-time favourite is because how I got started is a show called The Only Way is Downton, which was the first, what I did was a parody of Downton Abbey. And I was doing lots of parodies at the time. I was doing parodies of X Factor, parodies of The Voice, parodies of Andy Murray, and I did one of Downton Abbey, and I played all the characters. And you know, being Maggie Smith, well, I have to say it's a shame that she's not, that the show's not on, because
Yes.
you know it's such an enjoyable impression to do. And when there must come a time when they do a second film, and perhaps she'll make another appearance. But until then, she'll remain in the canon.
So that's your favorite to do.
I reckon so.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
Now,
thank you.
but you did something special last summer where you had the big rock glam wig on.
Oh,
What was that about? Do you remember? And you had a photograph on Twitter of you with this big, huge
in the
wig.
summer.
Yeah.
Was this
Sure.
yeah, this would be Celebrity Karaoke Club.
Okay.
So I was getting to. Oh, do you mean that one, or do you mean when I was being Joe Wicks? Was it that?
No,
You know, I
not
was
Joe
doing.
Wicks. No, but can you do Joe Wicks?
Oh my God! Welcome, amazing. We got Dr. Pam here. We got about 1 million of you tuning in. Amazing. I'm making this look really hard. It's not amazing. So like he's been a joy to do. But no, I mean,
Walter Shop is back saying this is brilliant. It's true. You are brilliant. How do you keep your head from not exploding?
No, yeah. My wife, she keeps me on my feet. I'm more intrigued as well why you've not eaten your limp bunnies that are on your bookcase behind you.
I've been slowly picking them off. Trust me.
Oh my God, they're like the most tastiest thing ever. How have you? I mean,
know,
surely they're Easter. You've kept them since Easter.
No. I've been buying them, and then people give them to me. I am a chocoholic.
Oh
That is my one
gosh.
vice. I eat well. I exercise, except for my chocolate.
Oh, I'm so jealous of those. I want one now.
I'll send you one.
Okay, that's a
We haven't
promise.
come on the show. Now with you know, you're in lockdown. You're with your wife in lockdown, and you know, people get stressed. And when I look at the relationship research over the last year, there's been kind of surveys that go up and down with couples finding their feet, and then really the stress gets to them. And then the most recent research in January, that a lot of couples were saying their friendship was good between them, but there wasn't a lot of romance at this point because the third lockdown, everybody's getting a bit, you know, lockdown fatigue.
Yeah.
So do you use your comedy to keep things sweet with your better half, or what?
Yeah, I mean, you know, my wife's really funny as well. Like, so we do have a real laugh at home, and the sort of we feel we just bought this this house back in just before the first lockdown. So, you know, we're coming up. Well, we moved in November 2019. So, you know, but we did it up, and it just finished February 2020, and then we had the lockdown.
The work.
Oh my God. So we'd finished the work and all by coincidence, really. And then we love this house so much. So we get to be in this house together. And, you know, we have a big laugh. We play a game called Settlers of Catan that we play most nights. Which we really enjoy.
Is it a game like a computer game?
It's like a board game, but you play it online. Okay. And it's just brilliant. We play it with my two mates. So we do that. That keeps us entertained quite a lot. And just watching box sets and making dinners and genuinely like it's I feel very, very lucky. I know not everyone has been as lucky, but we do feel very fortunate. My wife is incredibly tolerant of me and she just doesn't get wound up by stuff. And it's amazing because I get wound up by, you know, dishes not being put in the dishwasher and just left on the top, or
we're OCD, are we?
You know what? Like, it's the littlest things. I'm just like, oh, why did you just do that? You know, like, where I think it works that my wife's not like that, because it just keeps it as a balance. And also, like, I never like, I think using the right language, you know, not saying to her, why don't you do this?
Yes.
You know, saying, listen, when I come in from being in Leeds for 2 days and the place is a tip, it makes me feel fatigued and sad and upset. Like, so is there a way that we could sort of work together to make that not happen? And then, you know, then she punches me. So it's fine.
I think I'd punch you too if I've been holding doing my job, and you come in and say, "Oh, it's just not tidy enough, darling."
Yeah, exactly. Clean it up.
What impression would you do that in?
It would do an impression of me when I'm in a mood, and it's my best impression.
Now, a lot of entertainment, of course, has been cancelled. I mean,
Yeah.
I know a lot about the comedy world, family members involved, highly involved in the comedy world. I used to see a lot of comedy before lockdown, and a lot of
You've come
music
to see me,
gigs.
though.
I've seen you. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And I just love it so much.
Oh, thank you.
So what happened? Did you have any tours that went by the wayside, or were you
Yeah.
lucky that hadn't been anything scheduled that you had to try and reschedule?
Hundreds of gigs,
Yeah.
you know, and even the ones that weren't scheduled, you know, they would have been booked in. So, you know, it's funny how I still look at my phone and it, like, even like yesterday, it was like Worthing 40-minute set headlining. And I'm like, oh, I forgot that, you know, we've not even had an email from them saying that won't be happening, because we know it won't be happening.
Exactly.
So, you know, there's been lots and lots of gigs and lots of corporate gigs, which can be a big earner for you over Christmas and stuff, doing, as I'm sure you know. So, you know, it's been a huge, and just the getting out there and performing and building your material. You know, you can do as many online gigs as you want, but, and I think part of it is a confidence thing or a laziness thing of sort of going, oh, I don't want to do online gigs. And I have done some, and I'm doing one this weekend with Russell Kane, and I'm doing one next week with John Freegan.
Where can people get info about that? On your website, or?
Actually, it's already sold out, that one. So, because
darn, I was going to flag that up to people.
It's mad, isn't it? Because it's sort of like, surely it's Zoom, so anyone can be on it, but we're keeping it just to 100 people.
Cool.
But it's not the same, you know. Like, I know some comedians have done really well and pivoted and transitioned into online gigs, and I probably could have done that more, perhaps. Yeah. I feel very fortunate. I've been doing the Steph's Packed Lunch on, so I've been busy, but there's nothing like live comedy, as you well know.
Oh,
nothing like that energy.
The energy, and especially if there's a heckler or something, and you just watch the dynamic too, you know, as a bystander, what happens when someone gets heckled. And although when I've seen you, you haven't been heckled, so maybe you have a really lovely audiences.
There's definitely some war wounds from hecklers down the years. That's now, of course I don't miss.
I was going to say, this is trending with Dr. Pam, and I wanted to run a couple of trends that, you know, things have been trending on Twitter in the last 24 hours. Of course, the nation lost our hero and inspiration, Captain Sir Tom Moore. And, you know, I think there's such heartfelt sort of, you know, sort of responses and people talking about what he meant to them. Like he was like the grandfather they always wanted, or he inspired them to do something. So I wanted to look at our lives. Like, what has inspired you in your life? And I'm talking anytime, because the person I'm thinking of from my life was when I was 15. So has anyone ever inspired you in any particular way?
Well, I feel like I feel like I'm inspired every day, and I have been inspired every day throughout my entire life, you know, and it can be the smallest things that people say, you know. I've been learning Italian during since last year. Sì, grazie, tutto bene.
Can you say anything sexy in Italian?
Oh, io parlo molto italiano, tutto bene per you, per me, dottore Pam. But
whatever all that meant.
yeah, exactly. That meant I have a horse and he's great. But I remember I got a lovely message on Twitter from my old German teacher, and
how cool is that?
And I've not spoken to her since I was 15.
Yeah.
She just sent me a lovely message, and she's really young. Like, she would have only been sort of 21 when she was teaching me, so she's really young.
So you had a crush.
Oh, definitely. I didn't say that to her in our correspondence. I definitely had a crush. But she messaged me and said, oh, it's great to see us doing so well. And I said, oh, well, I hope you kept up with your languages. And I said, well, interesting. I have started learning Italian since last April. And and she said to me, oh, she's like, you were so great. And I'm not saying this is a thing to show off, but she was like, you were so great. You always struggled with your writing. And that was the only reason that you weren't in the top set for everything. But you're always very good with your performing and your speaking. And it's interesting that that's been exactly the same now with learning Italian. I'm rubbish with the writing side of it and the homework and things like that, because my brain doesn't really work like that. It just wants to perform all the time, or as they say in Italian, recitare. And I want to be performing. And it inspired me to go, do you know what? Like, maybe that's just the way you are. No, that's not a bad thing. You're good at this bit. You're not good at that bit. And just even that little sentence just goes and make me feel really good, And so
that's fantastic.
It's all the time you get inspired. My wife inspires me every day. She's such a, she works so hard. She's so ambitious. She's so beautiful, so funny, so amazing. So she inspires me a lot. So,
Well, that is so nice to hear. It is those little things. And for me, I was going to say, when I was 15, it was my art teacher who made us believe as a class that we could create anything. There were no bounds. He let us try every media that there was to try. And I will just never forget that, and because I've gone back to painting in the last 18 months.
Oh, great.
In a big way.
Great.
But having left it for so long, I always did arts and crafts with my children. Always have done as that sort of thing. But I think it's sometimes that critical age around 15, 16, where someone can have such an impact on you, a really good teacher or something who inspires you.
100%. But I think in the opposite, I really enjoyed art. And did quite well at art when I was sort of 6 or 7, and
you mean your parents have your paintings on the wall?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, year six. I'm more like 11.
Oh, you're 6. Okay.
But I remember we had art competitions where you'd have you could get your picture in the local paper and stuff like that, and that and it was, I used to really enjoy it. And then I had a teacher who just didn't really take a liking to me in about year 9, so I'd have been sort of 13, 14, like you say, that sort of.
Were you an unlikable, Harry Enfield Kevin?
No, I was very much doing impressions of the teachers, so and they didn't all take a liking to it, but the other kids did. But she was quite disparaging in front of people. And sort of said, was like, look at this, it's awful, and laughing at this thing I'd made. And I took it really badly, and it really put me off art, probably forever, really. So I think it can show you how these things can work both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, moving on to the next sort of trend that's been trending for the last day or so, was Russell Crowe.
Yes.
There was this guy named Stephen Harris who reached out on Twitter saying, does anyone know how to contact Russell Crowe? He wanted to get Russell to do a video for his friend, I guess, named Pip, who's sailing around the world or something. And Russell Crowe, just tweeted back and said, hey, mate, what do you want or something? And then created the video for him that he wanted. And I just wondered if you've done a kind of random act of kindness recently, or has someone done one for you?
Well,
it ties into the inspiration, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I love that video that he did, and I think that's so great that it doesn't matter how big a movie star, celebrity you are, it doesn't take much to do something like that, and it can mean an awful lot. Even just and this is not on the level, but a friend of mine messaged me 10 minutes before I came on here, just saying, "Oh, my daughter's got to do a project about David Attenborough. Can you do a little voice note for her?" Aww. So I quickly sent this, hello, and whatever you do, don't use plastic. And she's like, and then her mum just sent me a message going, "Oh, she's going to get a gold commendation from the headmistress now." But, so little things like that absolutely don't mind. And when people are people have offered, I'll give you 50 quid for doing this. I'm like, listen, that takes me 2 seconds. Have it. If you're a friend, that is. Any employees looking at that, I will charge. But as far as the other way around, I'm a massive Arsenal football fan, and one of the directors at the club who I did some work for, like, has been amazing and just like invited me to this pre-lockdown, obviously, but invited me to the club. I've met the players, I've been to the directors' lounge and those little things, and like got some signed boots, and like they just meant the absolute world to me. Things I'll treasure forever. So yeah,
That's
I
like
think if you can
me.
do it.
I've got a happy birthday message from the Foo Fighters like 3 years ago, because
Oh,
someone I
wow.
know was working with them, and she asked if they would sign a birthday message. So
That's great.
I've got it here. Let me see if
Oh, wow.
I keep it in my office.
Framed.
It says, hang on, let me get
That's
it.
great.
Happy birthday, Dr. Pam.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
I know. So that was an act of kindness that person
Yes.
thought of at the time. That I know Pam is a massive Foos fan, and I've seen them about 6 times live.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah, that was the most recent sort of, there's been tons of little kindnesses that people
Of course,
do.
yeah.
But that kind of stands out. But oh my gosh, we're kind of out of time. There were other things I wanted to run past you, but what I wanted to ask you before we go is, so people can see you on Steph's Packed Lunch. Which days a week, or is it just
Tuesday and Wednesday? Tuesday and Wednesday are my days, but then it sometimes other days happen. But yeah, Tuesday and Wednesdays are the main days.
And then
I'm on stand-up sketch show, which is coming to ITV2 on Monday. So Mondays at 10 p.m. I'm filming something for the Gadget Show on Channel 5. And amongst
all
gigs
socially
and,
distanced, the new filming.
Yes. So all sorts of things are happening, which is, very fortunate. And you just come follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll be informing you.
And on your website, do you post these things? Because I looked at your website.
Don't post on my website, Pam. I haven't looked at that for
I
years.
was going to say, I couldn't find like when's your next tour or something, online gigs,
Yeah, I mean,
definitely have to follow you on social media.
I think social media is the best one. When I do have a tour, it does go on the website and stuff, but my tour now is like, well, I mean, we're looking at October through to the end of the year, but hopefully we shall see.
Everything crossed. Gosh, I would definitely be coming along, especially if you do the London area. Definitely.
Yeah, we will definitely do some London days. Yeah.
And just to sign out on a last note, can you please do a Trump goodbye for me to make me kind of cringe at the same time?
Let's hope it's the last time we ever hear from him. Thank you so much, Pam. You've been fantastic. I love your show. It's probably the greatest men's radio station there is because I'm on it. Great. Thank you so much, Pam. Bye-bye.
Oh, I love it. I love you, Luke. Thank you so much for coming on. And just remind people that your website is lukekempner.com, but don't go there. Go to social media. He's at Luke Kempner. Lots of love, darling. Thank you so much. You really made me laugh. Oh my gosh. I'm going to move on to my next guest, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome him. He's an all-round creative of both music and photography. You can find him at rasanjazzphotography.com, and on social media, he's at RASDMG. So as in Russ DMG, meaning short for damage. And I'm delighted that Russ Jazz joins me now. And
hey.
Hello, Russ. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really well. It's so good to see you, because it's been a couple of years since we spoke last time that you did a show with me.
Has it been a couple of years already?
Yeah, I think it was like 2 years ago. It's been a while. And so I was so pleased that you could come on today. And you're such a talented person. We've got so much to talk about. But first off,
Luke is talented. Wow.
Well,
this guy.
On the funny side, he is mega talented. I'm glad you.
Yeah, he seriously is. I should have went first. He should have come after me. Now I got to follow that. I ain't got no jokes.
You can follow it. Yeah, you're just going down a different line of creativity.
Absolutely.
But first, I want to know, with you and lockdown, what's it been like for you? Because for everybody, it's a different experience.
Yeah, lockdown. It's been hard. It's been real hard. For us creatives, there's just been, everything came to a complete halt very quickly. We was on tour, we was on tour. Yeah, we was on tour last year, and funny enough, it was actually us that said, all right, we need to stop because this thing seems like it's getting out of control. Yeah. But we was on tour, and we had approximately 10 or 12 dates left.
Yeah.
to complete the tour, and we just said, look, this is getting out of hand. We need to stop. And we stopped in March, knowing that we still had, you know, another 2 weeks to go. And then from there on, it was, you know, little to no work. It's been crazy.
It's been
absolutely
really, I
crazy.
know what you're talking about. You know, a lot of my work that I do, consulting, involves just going into someone's company and consulting about the well-being of the staff. And, you know, that work dries up. It's not that easy to do over Skype. But I remember asking you to my art exhibition. I had my first exhibition last March,
Yes.
early March 2nd. And you messaged back saying, that's my one night off the tour. I have to be at home. And I was like, okay, you can get out of it. But, you know, and our mutual pal, Ricky Nord, was due to come.
Yeah.
And then something happened to him, and he messaged me he wasn't able to come that night. But I remember thinking, wow, and it's so great. You know, Damage was such a massive R&B boy band sort of hit of the 90s. And there you had all these fans wanting you, you know, to see you on your tour. We've got Natasha who says, Boys Are Back was fantastic and loved it.
Oh, bless
So does
Natasha.
that mean
Thank you.
she saw you on your tour?
I guess so. I guess so. Natasha follows me and tweets me quite a lot. In fact, she tweeted me yesterday because I tweet a lot about food. I'm always hungry, particularly in lockdown. Everyone just eats.
Yeah.
So now I just eat. I just eat a lot. And every morning I go on Twitter and I ask, you know, who's having what for breakfast? And she said that she's having McDonald's. She just ordered McDonald's breakfast, and I was livid. I mean, I don't know where Natasha lives, but I was upset. You could have ordered me some and sent it to my house. I was really upset.
I love it. I know I've eaten too much chocolate during lockdown. I'm much more of a chocolate person than a Mackie D person.
Yeah, I've done that as well.
Natasha's just said she's in Nottingham. So I think that's
okay.
quite a ways from where you are.
It is, but you know, Uber Eats is everywhere. Deliveroo is everywhere. You just need to change your location. Just put it into London and it will get to me.
So what was it like when you were doing the tour before lockdown? Was it just great to be back with the boys, back with Damage? I mean, you guys had some big hits, you know? Yeah,
I mean, we was very fortunate, and we, you know, again, very fortunate also to, you know, to go on a 36 date tour as well. You know, very, very fortunate. And, you know, the tour was fantastic. We went on tour with A1, 5, you know, and it was just amazing. It was absolutely amazing just to be on the road again. You know, it was busy. It was hard work, but it was absolutely fun. You know, it was absolute fun. We really enjoyed it, and we can't wait to get back out and finish the tour.
Will you do those dates that got cancelled? Will you do them in maybe 22 or at the end of 21?
I mean, we're trying. We tried to get some dates in for February this month, and obviously we've had to move those again. Yeah,
so maybe February 22.
You know what we're looking at. We're looking at September now. Yeah, we're looking at September. So, you know, fingers crossed we can get September happening.
Absolutely. Now, of course, you also, we're going to talk about your photography, especially the wedding photography. You know, I just love that. And you've had some fun stories to share about, you know, romance and weddings and proposals in the past. But first, I want to get to your new music. Now, what you sent me a couple clips. We're going to hear a clip now of Love and Lo-Fi, which my lovely producer, has ready for us. And it'll be super chill.
It's very chilled. It's very chilled. so chilled.
It is. I could listen to this and just drift off.
That's the aim.
Quite seductive too. I love this. It's so, as I say, seductive. And we've had another message from Amira. Says, that's my husband. Oh, wow. Hello to your lovely wife.
Dear.
So do you, with your lovely, the clips I've heard of your new music, is that how you seduce her? You say, darling, I'm going to put something on for you.
Oh dear. No, I don't actually.
You should try it.
I know I should. Maybe I should. I can't think of anything more cringy than trying to seduce someone to my own music. You know, because you got to understand the process is not a process of, you know, we sit in the studio and we do it, you know, for a couple of hours and then, you know, it gets released. It takes a long time to, you know, to get the tracks ready and, you know, mixed, mastered and stuff like that. So you hear it a lot. Yeah. And the last thing you want to do is hear it all over again when you're trying to get busy.
She's just commented that you should. There's some hints for you.
Well,
I love that. Now, I remember when we spoke once, I'm sure you were you planning your proposal, or you were just telling me about how you did your proposal?
I was telling you about our proposal, yes.
Because I loved it. Can you tell everyone listening that story again?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened I knew that I wanted to propose whilst we was on a holiday. We went to oh my God, where did we go to? Go to so many places that I just completely forgot, and she's gonna probably murder me now that I can't remember.
Pre-lockdown.
This was definitely pre-lockdown, and you know, I just wanted to propose in the early part of the holiday. So we went away, and I am looking desperately for the place that I want to propose. Now I've got in my head what I want it to look like, and I was looking for a place that was very scenic and that looked great when the sun was setting. Now
she's just said Portugal.
There you go, Portugal. Yeah. See,
and Natasha wanted to know if you sing to her, but we'll have to get back to that later.
Yeah, it's Portugal on Patatas Beach, and all of the beaches and stuff. When the sun sets, it sets behind the mountains and the buildings and stuff. So that just wasn't working. So I had to rethink my plan and say, all right, babe, look, I want to go and capture some sunset, some sunrise shots. Do you want to come and do that with me? And she said, yeah. So I said, but you realize we got to be up at like 5 a.m. to do that, right? She said, oh no, it's fine. I'll join you. So the next day, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm nudging her, I'm waking her up. Come on, look. It's like, no, get off of me. I'm like, no, babe, I don't want anything. I just want to go, and you know. And she gets up reluctantly, and all the way down to Patatas Beach, she is literally just cursing me, saying, "No, I can't believe that you got me up so early." And in my head, I'm like,
that would be me,
you know. And then we get to the beach, and then what I've done is, me being a photographer and everything's visual, I've set up the GoPro, I've set up my camera on some form of time lapse, you know, so intermittent shooting, and that's on a go. So I just go in front of the camera, you know, with a mirror, and literally we stand there for about 5-10 minutes just talking and just appreciating the sunrise coming up, and the sound.
She chilled out by then?
She had chilled out. Yeah. She had chilled out a lot. And then I turned around and, you know, popped the question on one knee with you know, the ring and everything. And the picture and the video is just absolutely fantastic. You know, it's absolutely fantastic. So I think I did a good job there.
I think you did too, even though you dragged her out of bed. But tell me, did she feel surprised, or did she kind of expect it?
No, she was 100% surprised, because she the first thing she said after she said yes, obviously, was, look at what I'm wearing. because obviously you're not going to get out of bed at that time in the morning and put on, you know, your fanciest clothes to go to the beach and
Not gonna do your
get
makeup.
get your makeup, do your hair and all of that. So, you know, so the
You
first thing
should
she
have
said
chosen
was,
sunset when she might have thought then you're going to go out for drinks and she would have been all dolled up, you know.
I really tried, but you know, unfortunately the destination that we chose just wasn't the right destination in terms of, you know, getting the right place for sunsets. But yeah, it was epic. It was epic to, you know, to say the least.
Now, Natasha's commented that that's so sweet, and she did ask, you know, do you sing to Amira? Do you?
No.
Really? I'm surprised. Wow,
and she'll
voice, you'd love to sing to her.
and she'll probably comment on that in a bit. You know what it is? I tell you exactly what it is, right? Number one is when you sing for so many years, right? And then I fell out of love with music. You know, when the band disbanded, I fell out of love this music. And when we went back on tour, that's when I kind of like started to feel music all over again. And that's the reason why I did, you know, the EPs, because I was just so passionate about music again. But you know, but singing wise, I was just like, I just really can't be bothered. You know, I literally cannot be bothered. And because of that, I just never sung to anyone, to be fair.
I think it's kind of like, you know, when people ask me if gone pre-lockdown, you go to a birthday party, someone's throwing their 40th birthday party and you're having lots of fun. And then someone pulls someone like me aside, a psychologist, and goes, can I ask you about my brother? I'm a bit worried that he's depressed. And I'm thinking, no, I don't want to talk psychology now. So I guess it's like you. It's like, you know, you don't want to be singing, you know, ready to sing any moment. You know, it's you know, there's the time and the place. I can understand that, actually.
I better do it soon, or else you know, I might not be living anywhere soon enough. So I better do it soon.
For your anniversary or for Valentine's Day, which is coming up, of course.
Valentine. Yeah. We was actually talking about that, what we're gonna do, because it's a completely different Valentine's this year, isn't it?
Everything is different. And I meant to ask you, of course, you were doing a lot of wedding photography. And the last time we spoke, you know, you told me about different, you know, funny stories or things that went wrong or whatever. So what's happened with COVID? I mean, people are still getting married, but because they're only limited to like 30 people, does that mean they're doing their own photography, or have you actually got involved in some weddings over the last year?
Yeah, it does vary. And, you know, the last year I've taken a hit. You know, there was a lot of cancellations, a lot of big weddings, a lot of destination weddings as well. And, you know, I've either, you know, I've given a lot of money back. And, you know, I'm just fingers crossed that you get that rebooking for, you know, when they rebook. But the ones that I have done, very, very small. And it's a completely different vibe. But like you said, because it's a lot smaller, what they're doing is they're just relying on friends and families to do a lot of, you know, camera phones and stuff like that. And with the camera phone technology that we've got today, you can actually get some pretty decent images.
Yeah, of course. So how do you feel about moving forward then over that, you know, when things come out of lockdown, are you going to be more, because you've got the multi-talented thing, are you going to be more interested in getting your music out there, maybe getting damaged, that the tour finished, or would it still be photography, or just a bit of both? I mean, how do you see the future?
Yeah, it's going to be a mixture of everything, because as I said, the music, my love for music has been reignited. You know, so I'm making music more or less on a daily basis, and this is just a lo-fi thing. I'm really passionate about lo-fi. And it's, you know, it's taken off, and it's very chilled. I listen to it when I'm working. I listen to it when I'm editing pictures, and it helps my workflow. So it's really cool. Damage will tour towards the end of this year, fingers crossed. And hopefully the middle part towards the end of this year, I will, you know, start doing weddings again and more, you know, corporate headshots and stuff like that. So, you know, everything is towards the middle of this year. You know, I've got things lined up and ready to go. It's just we need to get this, you know, this COVID thing under under
Under
control, and then we
control.
can move
Yeah.
forward. Yeah.
Well, I just have time for one last thing, and that is sharing with people, because ultimately the show touches on well-being in so many ways. So how, with the struggles you've had with lockdown, losing work and that kind of thing, what advice or tip, maybe one tip you would give to anyone listening who is struggling? What has helped you? Maybe it's listening to music brings you up, or whatever your
Yeah.
tip is.
Yeah, definitely. Listening to music. I'll tell you one thing that helped me, and that was helping others. And
Okay.
what I mean by that is the first lockdown, I did a free online photography workshop.
Cool.
Every week, anyone could join.
Yeah.
Whatever level it doesn't matter. And that did really good things for people that were struggling mentally, because what we would do is we would come together, we would all come together, like-minded people, creative people. We would do a bunch of tasks, and then I would set them some homework, and then they've actually got something to focus on throughout the week. And then what they would do is, and then they would send me all of their work throughout the week and stuff, and then that gave me something to do in terms of critique, this, that, and the other, and whilst putting together the next week of challenges for them. So it's about finding things that encourage you to take a leap of faith and do something different. And
I love that.
more importantly, it's about talking as well. If you've got someone that you can talk to, go ahead and talk to someone. At the moment, I'm doing free online quizzes every Thursday, tonight, in fact, online quizzes where anybody could join, and it's just absolute fun and laughter. And this is what I'm saying.
Can people find that on Twitter then?
You find
okay. So let me just flag up your social media, Twitter and Instagram at RASDMG.
RASDMG.
But it's RASDMG. And let me
correct.
flag up your website, rasanjasphotography.com. One last comment. Zara says, yes, more touring, please. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I absolutely loved our chat. And we'll talk again soon. Lots of love to you.
Indeed. Take care. Lovely to see you. Bye-bye.
And your lovely wife. Thank you for your time.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now, I've got one more incredible guest, and she is a star of showbiz. She's from the mega talented family, the Nolans. The Nolans have sold over 30 million records. So she is a Nolan sister. She is an actress, and she is a Sunday Times best-selling author. You can find her on Twitter at Maureen Nolan _. And I'm hoping that Maureen is here with me now. And there she is. Hello. Good to see you again. When I was looking at a bit about your life, and I didn't realize you are the longest serving Nolan sister.
Yes, I am. Some of my sisters left. Denise. I think Denise left first, and then Linda left, and then Anne left and came back. So it was very confusing for everybody. But through it all, I've been there the whole time. So whatever photos of the Nolans there are out there,
you're in there. That's incredible. As I say, Philippa says, hi, Maureen. So someone who's a big fan, obviously. Now, I don't know if you can turn the volume up on your microphone or without switching yourself off. Don't worry about it if you can't. But you're a little bit quiet.
I'm technically challenged, I have to say.
Oh, I'm the same. Don't worry about it. It's just a little bit quiet, and I want to hear what you have to say. Now, we're looking at sort of lockdown, and oops, you've just turned yourself off. I can't see you any longer. There you go. Let's just leave it at that. So, we're talking about lockdown, and everybody's had a different experience with lockdown. And I was wondering, for you, what have been kind of the highs and the lows for you? Have there been any positives that have come out of it?
Well, I think family time, obviously you spend more time with your family, I think. Well, if you can. I mean, even if it's on Zoom.
Yeah.
Positive. Well, I've been going running every other day. I think
Oh,
people should,
cool.
if they're allowed that hour or whatever
Yeah.
exercise out, they should really, really do that, no matter how they feel. I think it's just clears your brain and clears your head. And I'm taking a course, a teaching assistant course.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's something that I kind of wanted to do. Early on, I was learning Spanish, and I got a calligraphy set, and because I want to write nicer and stuff. But yeah, I take up little hobbies and that you probably wouldn't have had time to do before.
That's amazing. I'm just teacher's assistant and the calligraphy and things. Because I love hearing what people are doing, and that, then people listening might think, I should try calligraphy. I mean, it's those
Well,
little things that actually make a difference to people's lives.
I think so. I mean, I think it's beautiful, isn't it, when you get a card and and I've always handwriting was awful, so I thought there might be an opportunity to improve it, and it has.
Yeah.
It helped. I sent a message. It took me ages, mind you, but I sent a message to all the girls, took a photo of it, and I said, "This is me writing with my new calligraphy set." And they were all going, "Oh,
I love it. I could do with that. My writing is terrible. Much better with a paintbrush. Now, I wanted to know about this cruising with the Nolans, because I guess most of it was shot during when we all came out of lockdown. Was that right? So it
uh,
was like in the summer or late spring?
the At Home with the Nolans, you mean?"
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. At home. And also wasn't there the cruising with the Nolans?
One was shot in February last year.
Okay. Before the first lockdown.
Yeah, when we got on the ship, there was nothing was happening, and as
Yeah.
we were around Italy and Spain, and um, we kept hearing reports of this virus that was hitting, and I remember at one point saying, that 50 people have died in Great Britain with this virus. That was, to think now how
Yeah.
many have, but yeah, and so we got off on the 12th of March. We got off 2 days early because of the virus. We were literally following it around the Mediterranean.
Wow.
Got off 2 days early in Barcelona, came home. We isolated obviously for a week.
Yeah.
And then on the 24th of March, of course, we were in lockdown. And
Yes.
next series started when we were in tier 2, I think.
Yeah.
So we managed to record most of that, although towards the end of it we did get locked down, but we were allowed to finish the recording because it was classed as work or something. We had
Yes.
tests and masks and whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, we were very lucky actually. I can't quite
I was going
believe
to say.
financially, because
Yeah.
everybody's struggling, aren't they, really, with losing work, especially in our business. And it
Yes.
just came at the right time, really. So we did ourselves very lucky.
That's fantastic. Now, I know a big part of your life has been caring, and I wanted to hear more about that, because I think a lot of people who have been carers in recent years have found it a very different experience in lockdown, because at least as a carer, when you're not in lockdown, you can get out and do things. And I think it's been very hard. I've had some people contact me, like say through my website, saying, they're really struggling. They're a carer. They feel like they have no break from it. Now, tell me about the caring role you have.
Well, my caring role really, except for my mum actually died from Alzheimer's, so we kind of all cared for her towards the end.
Yeah.
My caring really started in lockdown, the first lockdown, because early April, my sister Anne was diagnosed with breast cancer again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Anne actually looks after my 86-year-old auntie who's got skin cancer and, very bad arthritis and stuff. So Anne cares for her. So I
Yeah.
moved with Anne to care for Anne and my auntie. Yeah. So,
Wow.
uh,
That's a big
well,
responsibility.
I think it's family, isn't it? And any one of my sisters would have done the same thing, if it'd been me.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's it was challenging, I suppose. I mean, I was kind of lucky because I'm not, neither of them need, hoisting or
Yeah.
showering. They both could manage to do those things on their own. It was mainly cooking, and with my cooking, that's a challenge.
It would be with my cooking too.
And just generally doing breakfast and dinner and lunch and just looking after them. And Anne suffered greatly with anxiety, which she never has before.
And why do they think that was? It just having cancer sort of brought out this anxiety, or maybe any medication she was on. I know medications can sometimes affect those sort of feelings.
I don't really know, because she had cancer 20 years ago and didn't suffer from anxiety.
Yeah.
Because she's 20 years older. It might be, it was cancer during a lockdown with a virus, killer sort of virus going around as well.
Yeah.
So none of that helped. But it really, for her and for me, really, I had such sympathy and empathy for people who suffer with anxiety, because I've never quite understood it before.
Yeah.
My attitude was, well, stop it, get out of bed.
Well, stop worrying or whatever. Yeah.
Don't worry. Why are you worrying?
Yeah.
And just something that she just couldn't control, and it was really frustrating for her as well.
Yeah.
So I think of all the things that happened during lockdown, that anxiety was probably one of the worst, because deal with and understand,
Yeah. This is really important for people listening, and who, the show's repeated as a radio show, tomorrow. And I think we get a lot of listeners, and I think it's really important when people see someone from the public eye and think they've dealt with that too. They've had to go through this. Life isn't a bed of roses just because you're famous,
I mean, we've had challenging times lately, because obviously at the same time as Anne getting cancer, Linda got cancer for the third time.
I know.
So a lot of my caring again was I drove Anne for her appointments, and drove Linda as well for her appointments for oncologist and stuff. So it's just been a really challenging, worrying time. But I think their attitude certainly, and therefore our attitude was as well, there are only two choices. You can pull the covers over your head, never get out of bed, or just get on with it and try to find joy in little things. Anne's got 3 grandchildren, so have I, and we're FaceTiming them and getting all the enjoyment put out of them. Children are amazing, aren't they? Because
oh my gosh, they take you out of your worries, don't they?
Absolutely. And luckily we're TV addicts anyway, so Fox was to watch. We got pleasure out of that. And as I say, I used to try and get Anne out, even if it was in a wheelchair, just to get some fresh air and.
Good for you. It sounds like you've taken a really. It's obviously been tough, but you've taken an attitude that, like, when I'm at work and talking to people about these things, that I would be recommending. That you have to embrace it and to get through it. You can't hide from whatever you're going through.
Not going away anytime soon. So you can either just lie down and put covers over your head, or really just try and get on, and there probably is a light at the end of the tunnel, and things will be better, and look up, which they are, of course.
Yeah.
And now has got through her cancer to a certain extent, and she's much better. Her hair's growing back, and
fantastic. That's wonderful to hear. And just briefly, is there anything coming up on TV on a happy note that we can see in the near future for the Nolans? I've only got a few seconds, unfortunately.
Not at the moment. We're hoping maybe for another series, but don't know anything about that yet.
Well, thank you.
For in May and June, but of course I can't. We don't know. Do we what'll be happening then? But.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. And I wanted to say that people can find you on Twitter at Maureen Nolan _. Please give my love to all your sisters. And I want to thank everybody who has listened in today and commented. I'm sorry I didn't get to every comment that came through. back in a fortnight with another set of guests. And of course, the show's repeated as a radio show tomorrow. That's Friday, February 5th, and a week Friday. So you'll get the chance to hear it. Thank you. Take care of yourself. Until next time, lots of love.
Are you feeling anxious? Online Therapy 24/7 is here to help. We offer confidential support from the comfort of your own sofa. Our highly qualified therapists are experienced in a full range of daily challenges. You'll be in safe and trusted hands. Don't suffer alone. Change your life by calling us on 0207 553 50 80 and check out our website onlinetherapy247.com.